Hey friends, welcome back. So exciting to have you today. We're going to have a great guest today, but I want to encourage you to grab your favorite beverage, and I want to encourage you to join us on the author spotlight today. So grab your beverage and do a post, and you're going to hear from a great guest today, Jen Plessis. She's one of the top podcasters in the country in the mortgage industry. She's got a new book out called Launch. You're going to love it. Mute your phones, tell your friends and family, gather around the old computer, and we're going to have a lot of fun the next 20 minutes or so. So bring your questions, and we're streaming live on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and everywhere else in the world. And if you got a question or if you're writing a book, you want to tune in. A powerful women. Lots being said now about women becoming powerful, and we've got one of America's most powerful internet marketers and traditional business owners. But before I bring her on, I just want to say we still got three more spaces for Friday's webinar that starts. There's normally a fee for this, but during the pandemic, we're calling this a COVID crisis special. That's right. We're paying it forward. We're going to give you 8 quality nuggets. So go register now before it fills up. It'll probably be filled up before this show's over. Go to writebook60days.com. And you know what? Going to give you 8 weeks of nuts and bolts. We're keeping it small. We're keeping it under 20 people so we can work with you privately. So that being said, block out this time. Now, right after we interview Jen Plessis, we're going to have the world's youngest motivational speaker, the amazing John, who was recently featured on TMZ. His book, Be Amazing. He's going to be talking to us about what he's up to. He just broke some world records in actually doing book signings as he's skydiving. So you're going to want to stick around. He had his 12th birthday last month during the pandemic. But we're glad you joined us today on the Author Spotlight, where we feature authors that are making a difference. So I want you to go ahead and leave your comments, leave your questions there on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, everywhere you're watching. Jen Plessis is America's Mortgage Mastery Mentor, helps mortgage loan offers and real estate agents. I had a great time hanging out with her and her husband, Brian, on the beaches of the world in the Caribbean before the pandemic hit, Jen. Not only are you a successful author, speaker, internet marketer, and really a business coach to women and men, but you and your husband have succeeded for years in the traditional space of the mortgage industry. And I think one thing I appreciate about you guys, because I've been following you for a long time, is you've always been able to innovate and be on the front end of the curve. Talk to me a little bit about innovation. What advice do you give women? I know you speak a lot, and let's just dive right in on how you can help somebody that's struggling through this pandemic in their business.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing me on and spotlighting me today, Michael. And of course we did. We had a blast. I have some great pictures of you that I will never share.
Thank you. I appreciate that. In the mail.
Yeah. What I would say, I mean, men or women, it doesn't matter right now. I think, the biggest thing right now is to make sure that you are nurturing all the relationships that you have, and not, hide out. And I think that's what I'm really concerned about with a lot of people, is not getting out there and not engaging with everyone. This is the prime time. And I've been so fortunate, in my 35-year career in mortgage lending to have gone through multitudes of downturns, right? For a variety of reasons, right? 9/11.
Your first rodeo, right?
Yeah. And the one thing I know about this is that, when you make that pivot in your business during this time, the people that are ready and prepared as soon as we're all let out of quarantine are going to be the ones who are surviving. In the business and not just in mortgages, but in any kind of business. So the opportunities are really, really, really there. And this is actually an exciting time. I think we all get really mundane in some of our activities, and this is an exciting time to say, now what can I do? Or, what opportunities are there available to us? And, just like you, I've made a big shift, and, you have to. You have to. So
you said something right here that's very key that I want you to elaborate on, because some people see a crisis and they shut down. That's the fight or flight mode. And fight or flight, as men, I think it's a little easier sometimes because we're wired more. We like a good fight. We're used to playing football and boxing and doing those physical contact sports. But Women as nurturers, I mean, I know you're always planning ahead, particularly you're a mom. We've got Mother's Day coming up next week, so an early shout out to all the moms. You're not going to want to miss next week on the Author Spotlight. We got a couple surprise guests, women that are changing the world. So Jen, just like you, we want to wish you a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
But you know what? Rather than shrinking in fear, you know, some people see this as opportunity. And what I'm observing is in our industry is people that are planting seeds now that are investing in themselves. And what I like to tell people, and you're the queen of content. I think you've done 300 or 400 podcasts. You're speaking everywhere, and you're always paying it forward. And so you've had this endless stream, and the mortgage industry certainly has had much turmoil over the years, but you and Brian have been very successful. What practical seeds and wisdom would you give a seasoned or a startup entrepreneur that's really struggling because either they don't have cash flow or new customers? How can they survive and thrive and come out of this strong, or at least still be in business?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's the key is we want everybody to, you know, still be in business. There's no doubt about it. I mean, gosh, there's like lots of points that I could make there. You know, one is that I don't think that women are not fight or flight. I think women nowadays are all about what can I do? How can I change? I'm actually seeing both men and women do both sides of this. Some collapse and, you know, woe is me, and others are going, no, I'm going to go out and stir it up. So I think, you know, there's a lot of, I just think it's the individual, you know, and how they're taking this particular thing. But to answer your question about what someone should be doing right now, it really is pulling everybody in closer, right? You know, yes, you can plant seeds. There's no doubt. I think one of the first things would be to assess who's in your inner circle, who have been the people that have surrounded you, you know, in your business, your referral partners, your advisors, you know, those type of people, and ask yourself where, you know, are they around now? Have they reached out to you? Have they asked you how you're doing? Because if they haven't, when we're released and able to go out and start working on business again in our more traditional manner, you know, I would say to you, you know, if they haven't called you before, it's time to surround yourself with new people. And so I think this is a great time to really assess who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And if you have wanted to go out and meet new people and make new relationships, this is the time to plant those seeds as well. So you're not alone. You're not on an island. This is the opportunity now to invite everyone to your island that you want to have in your world. So if you have people that have complicated you and your practice, it's time to maybe say goodbye and only work with people that complement you. So that would be one of the first things, is just make sure that you're doing a reassessment of every aspect of your business, but particularly in the relationship spectrum here.
Well, Jen, I think that's great advice. It's really good advice. I tell people, if you want an endless stream of referrals, do what my friend Bob Berg says, who's from Florida, where we met. You and I were attending a conference together a couple years ago. You had just launched. Yeah. Now tell me a little bit about the book. Why did you write it? What's in here? What's the average business owner, entrepreneur, or businesswoman going to find here that's going to really ignite their fire?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yeah, so, you know, I really wanted to call the book Just Shut Up and Go Do It. Right?
I love that.
So many people talk, and so now we turned it into, you know, this not the subtitle, but, you know, it's kind of morphed into Stop Talking, Take Action, Get Results. You know, is that so many entrepreneurs talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and they don't put things into action. And we consume, and even right now with everything virtual summits left, right, and sideways, we're consuming, and it's kind of like having being a little squirrel with a whole bunch of nuts in your mouth, but you're drowning in your saliva. You can't spit it out. Your mouth's too full. You can't swallow it because you have it in there. You're drowning in it. Yeah, I know. And, and so I'm really all about action. Everything I do is about taking action. And so this book, I know that we all know what we need to be doing. It's the how that trips us up. So I created this how-to book, and I did it in a way that I wanted it to be a soup for the soul kind of book. If you've ever read Soup for the Soul, you can just kind of fan it open, and you see.
Mark Hansen's a great friend, and And
Yeah.
your book does that. But one thing
Yeah,
I
you
want to
just
ask
stand
too
open
that I've
and
observed is
yeah,
you and Brian are an amazing power couple and you support each other. What would you say to somebody out there that's dragging their spouse or their business partner, kicking and screaming, and they just want them to go get a day job? What do you think? And I know you guys have been so supportive of each other, and I know that's one reason you've succeeded so well. So what would you say to somebody struggling in their relationship to make it work on the business side?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, again, we work together. We've been married. It'll be 37 years in a couple months. We've worked together for 17 years. We don't work together anymore. I hear him in the back, in the back room talking, doing mortgages still. I'm not doing them anymore. Reminding yourselves that you are a team. So to answer your question, I'm not really sure, if someone's not in the same business, it's a whole different thing, but just reminding yourselves that you are a team and that, maybe identifying some gaps that you're experiencing, because we're all experiencing new gaps that we didn't know we had, or they've, all of a sudden we have them, right? Because we solved one problem, now we've got another problem, right? And, to sit down together and really discuss where are the gaps and what they're struggling with, so that you aren't independently in this house just walking around and really struggling with things. Lean on each other. We've always said that we're a team. We always yell from afar, team. So this isn't, one person's doing worse or better than the other. It's you're a team, and help each other fill those gaps so that you can get through this together. And look, I mean, I've been talking to Brian about it too. He, unbeknownst to a lot of people, there's two pandemics going on. One is, obviously coronavirus, but the other is the mortgage and real estate industry and the financial industry. It's a mess right now.
Hit hard. Yeah. It's really hit hard, right?
Yeah, there's just a lot of unintended consequences. And my clients, that I'm coaching are more busy at home, homeschooling, cooking, babysitting their spouse. they're more busy than they've ever been. And that's been putting an added pressure on. And there's a lot, some 20 changes in underwriting guidelines every day. We're experiencing what we did in the Great Recession right now. And
Freddie and Fannie are back with new names, I guess. But well, let me ask you this, because you started the podcast. You've got about 300 episodes. If you had it to do over again, what would you do differently about the podcast? And has it brought you a ton of leads? And are you coaching? Because I know you've got a coaching program. I want you to get into that in a little bit before we wrap up here. But tell me what you did right about the podcast and what you would do differently.
Yeah. Well, so I was one of the, I'm kind of one of the veterans in this industry. There wasn't anybody who could guide you. You kind of had to figure it out yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I started just recording them on my phone with an ear, not buds, because they weren't even around then, earphones in the closet in my bedroom, because that was the quietest place I could find. Right.
Necessity is the mother of invention. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I did that, and they were all audio for the longest time. And then I went to video. So, obviously I think video is the biggest thing. One of the shifts that I'm going to be making here shortly is that I currently interview people on Zoom, and we record it, and then I release it umpteen months later, because now anybody I'm interviewing is not going to be exposed until probably July or August, right?
Yeah.
And so now one of the shifts I'm going to make is that we're going to be doing Facebook Lives inside of the Mortgage Lending Mastery membership.
Okay. And
that way people get the information immediately, and then we'll repurpose it in the normal way that we're doing it. And I think that's fair to the person. And partly because I had months and months of interviews already pegged to go, but then the pandemic came and I had to scooch people along and insert new people. And if I can just do it live, I think that's going to be a better way. I would say that's one way to do it. I also think that one of the shifts we're going to be seeing, and that I want to see in other podcasters that I don't see very often, is a monologue. So I do a little about.
What do you mean by monologue? Give me define that.
I do interviews, and then I do a monologue where I'm talking and just sharing what's on my mind, and giving, because we grow all the time. And so, yes, I'm listening to other people and learning from other people, but there are things I want to share that, I believe are what really made my podcast very, very powerful, is because people felt they were actually talking to me.
They
And
get that. You're connecting with them. So it's almost like a journalist giving the opening monologue before they go in their segments and do the interviews on the show, right?
yeah. But the whole podcast is my monologue. It's me teaching something or talking about, a new strategy, or, some thoughts about now, what's going on. And I think that brings us closer to our subscribers. To answer your question about monetization and things like that, it definitely it allowed me to retire from lending, because it gave me the big platform to plant the seeds and get the wheels spinning, to the extent that, I already had an exit strategy, but I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And it propelled me. It propelled me to be able to do it on the timeline I had always dreamed of and had set expectations for, and allowed me to go out and share my message, everywhere.
Your message is powerful. It's called launch. And this is the best time to launch, in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of people are shrinking in fear, and you're launching new things all the time. And, it's just like the 4 basic food groups. I go to my kitchen over here. I've been eating a lot of leftovers. Now, fortunately, in Texas, the pandemic has partly been, they've opened it up a little bit. You can actually go to a restaurant now. So instead of just ordering Grubhub all the time or doing leftovers from the fridge. But your book is powerful. Fresh content. The paperback and the hardcover are available at yourwebsite.com, yourname.com. Just go there now. And tell me a little bit about the coaching programs, because I know we were on the Marketers Cruise with you and Brian in January, and everybody, 450 of the world's top marketers, are talking about Jen du Plessis, and you got to follow her podcast, and she's an amazing speaker.
I wish that were the case.
Well, that was the feedback I was getting. So tell me a little bit about, if somebody engages you, what do they get on coaching, and how can you make their life and business better?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you asking that. The whole premise of my coaching program is lifestyle business mastery. So what I focus on is helping people identify what fulfills them in their life first. And then we build an expansive, incredible business around it to the extent that they want, rather than us all focusing on building a bit, having a business plan and building it, and then trying to squeeze our lives in. So for me, after 35 years in lending, I knew that it was time for me, and it happened way before then, maybe at year 22 or something, but way before then, I realized that I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy going after money. I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't happy, and I was missing everything in my life, everything that was most powerful. So I help people really recognize that and get in and be super intentional, super focused in what they're trying to accomplish in their business, and allowing them to attract clients rather than chase them, which takes so much time.
Right.
So you can go on vacation, air quotes, vacation, every single day, and do what you love.
Well, that's exciting and powerful. I know you and Brian are living the dream when you can travel again and are out of quarantine. We all like to travel, and it's a write-off too. That's the beautiful thing about owning your own business and working from home. Really, if you don't have your own business and you can't write things off, if you're a W-2 employee and not a 1099 or owning your own company, and talk to your tax advisor about that, because there's a lot of advantages to owning your own business. And I love it how that you and Brian have complementary businesses. He's doing the traditional mortgage thing, and then your business is basically a funnel, a lead generation to bring people that can benefit from your coaching. So what's the future of Jen and Brian post-pandemic? What is the relaunch plan? What will you do differently?
He's going to go to work. He's going to go to work. That's what's going to happen for him. Because, he's not involved in any of my other businesses. I've got several of them. And, so he's going to go to work, and I'm going to be able to, continue. Right now, what I'm working on is I am tidying up all the loose ends in the back office, all the things that I had wanted to do but didn't have time because I was traveling and speaking 2 to 3 weeks out of every month. So now I'm just tidying up back ends. I've hired 4 new people on my team. And, everyone's just feverishly working on everything to set it all up so that we can get it completely automated. And then I can go out and do what I do best, which is, sharing my story and helping people achieve the results that they're looking for. And Then all we have to do is tweak things. So it's almost it's a blessing. I mean, it's really a blessing in disguise, because my business probably would have taken another year and a half to accomplish what I've already done.
Well, you do a great job speaking everywhere, and people love hearing you. Are you doing more virtual speaking and virtual meetings now? Have you found that you're able to transition, or are you just waiting for the pandemic to go away so you can get back on?
Oh, no, I'm not sitting back. I'm not sitting back. Yeah, I've led some summits, been a leader in someone else's summit. I'm going to be a keynote speaker on another summit here in a couple of weeks. I'm planning my own I wouldn't say it's a full summit yet, because I'm having to make that shift, and it's taking a little longer for a full workshop and summit. But I'm doing a 3-hour mastermind on how to go from intro to income, and really being good at digging in with your relationships to know where you can help people. And then I have another one, June 17th.
Yeah, tell me about that one.
The one on May 20th is how to go from intro to income. I think that a lot of people, they want deep relationships, but they don't really understand how to ask for them and how to really maneuver around them. So it's a 4-week, once a week, four event. What is the word? I don't know. Four mini course. It's a mini course.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to do
packaging. You got all your content, and you're packaging it for people that are quarantined at home, so they can develop and grow their business. Now, can they find everything out on your website? Is that the best way for people to contact you and follow you?
Yeah, just to contact me. I mean, again, because I'm pivoting, you're going to see some kind of weird stuff on my website. It's being maneuvered and updated and things. So just
but there's a contact form there where somebody
go
can
to the contact form and call me. Reach out to me on Facebook, obviously, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of that kind of stuff. You can get a hold of me, and I'd be happy to give you more information about everything.
That sounds great, Jen. I want to thank you for joining us. And, you've referred a lot of customers and authors to us, and it's been just a pleasure working with you. And launch, I think launch, you could write a book called Relaunch and Keep Launching, right? Because in business, you're always innovating. You're always innovating and repackaging, and times are always changing. So I appreciate you for being on the front end. But I wanted to say this. We're actually offering a publishing sponsorship that's worth $7,900 value. People can go to beyondpublishing.net, and there on the homepage, just click apply for scholarship. And if you or someone has an idea for a nonfiction book, go ahead and submit there, because I've got a team from Hollywood and I've got a team in the literary world that are voting on those, and that voting is going to end soon. So do that now. And then also we've got a writing group that we're offering for free. We normally charge a lot for this for 8 weeks. I'm going to personally be taking a private Facebook group. Even though it's free, you have to be approved. We have to go through a Zoom interview. And if you get approved to be a part of this group, we're going to take you through this mastermind where we've helped hundreds of people write best-selling books. And we've got a great team of people to help me facilitate that. And Jen, I just want to thank you for being on the show today. But let me ask you, writing your book, writing multiple content, and putting out, being a content generation person, we have the Publishers Podcast, and we like to feature each week on the Publisher Podcast a segment from the Author Spotlight. What would you say to an author, an aspiring new author out there? What advice would you give now that you've on the other side, you've done it and are speaking everywhere?
Yeah, I'm going to give 2 pieces of advice. The first one is behind my shoulder here, right? Whatever side this is on. That's stop talking, take action, get results. There's so many people I've heard, and one that I referred to you has been writing his book for 5 years. I mean, get it done. Just get it done. Get your message out there. Let the world hear you and see you. I would say, enough is enough. Just get it done. The other thing is, and one of the things that Michael and I are going to be doing in the next round of our printing is adding a QR code onto the cover or someplace in my book, so that a video of me saying, thank you for buying my book, and I'm so excited. It just brings that personality back in, and that connection that we're all looking for right now. And I would say, do that. I chose not to do an audio for this book because it is a workbook. I want it to be dog-eared and highlighted and paper. That's
200 plus pages of quality content. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and there's not a chapter that's more than 2.5 pages. You just get in, I teach you something, and then I give you some actionable items to take it and run with it. So that's why I didn't do the audio, because you'd end up buying the book anyway. So, because that's what I end up doing when there's so much good content, right? But
Well,
yeah,
we want to thank you for joining us. We want everyone to stick around in just a few minutes. At the bottom of the hour from Tampa, Florida, we're going to have the world's youngest motivational speaker, the amazing John. He recently was featured on TMZ, and he was in a Disney commercial. And you know what? He had some advice on TMZ for LeBron James to keep a positive, motivated mindset. So if you want to be motivated by the world's youngest motivational speaker, stay tuned. Jen, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you helping us launch. You got a great book here. Go check out Jen's website right there on the screen. You can see it. Thanks for all your kind comments. And thanks for sharing this interview and helping people pivot, helping people stay focused, and helping people advance during this time of transition. And maybe you're starting a new business. Reach out to Jen and subscribe to her email. Get on her email list, because you know what? She's got some phenomenal podcasts, some phenomenal business startup and thriving information. So Jen,
yeah, can I say something else real quick? Sure. Is that either the end of this week or the beginning of next week, my new podcast called Success to Significance, Life After Breaking Through Glass Ceilings will be launched. So look for that in every syndicated area. No matter what you have, you'll be able to
Beautiful.
find it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's another thing I've been working on. Yeah.
Okay, let me know about it. We want to share it everywhere. So stick around, guys, right here, wherever you're watching this interview right now. In just a few minutes, we're going live with the amazing John. So Jen, thank you so much. Have a great time. Say hi to Brian and be safe in the pandemic.
You too. Have fun at a restaurant, you lucky duck.
I'll be careful. Bye-bye.